Justin is our resident country club professional, Justin Kruse, ready to go?
He is indeed.
Cruise Control, the Kruse missile that coils well on the internet. So,
good morning.
Hey, rise and shine, man. Good morning. So we were going to do this tomorrow, but we're going to do it today. How great is that? This is exciting.
I'm ready. Always prepared. You have to adapt. Got to be ready. You got to get up and down for par sometimes. So I'm here.
Hey, you got to get up and down for you got to save it. It's all about the wedge game. The whole game scored from 150 in, isn't it?
I didn't know you could hit a wedge from 150, Bellino, but that is strong.
A pitching wedge, yeah.
Jeez, you are an athlete.
Highly skilled, loaded with talent. Isn't that what what's his name said from Eastbound and Down? What was the guy with the mullet?
Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers, that's right. Kenny Powers, highly skilled, loaded with talent. So before you came on, something came across the wire, and I saw it, and I was like, I have to address this to the people, because there's always this debate about who is the greatest golfer of all time. And I know we're going to talk about the major coming up that's currently delayed because it's flipping freezing out there, Mr. Bigglesworth. But the USGA stimp meter readings came out from 1977. Did you happen to see my tweet about that?
I did.
And I'm looking at that, these shag carpets that these guys are playing on, and I'm like, look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because that's all they knew, right? And at one point, the Model T was the premier method of transportation. A Ferrari is a better car to get you. It's going to get you from point A to point B a little faster. I would imagine is a better motor vehicle option. Maybe you want like a four-door, like the big, the Rolls-Royce like SUV. Maybe you want to go that way. Probably better than the Model T. If you want to take the oxen with the wagon across to the Pacific Northwest on the Oregon Trail, that's completely up to you. I personally would rather fly than take the horse and buggy, which brings me to this point. Tiger Woods the greatest golfer ever. Like, there's no way around it. You look at those stimp meter readings, like, come on.
I mean, I think the only thing you can say is technology has obviously improved, but if you look at some of these old classic golf courses, some of these greens were never designed to be running at 12, 13, 14 on the stimp meter. And because of that, a lot of those classic courses and classic greens, you can't even use certain pin positions that maybe they used 40, 50 years ago. So I agree with what you're saying. I'm not sure I can draw a correlation between Jack played on slower greens, so subsequent to that, Tiger's a better player. I would argue that much of Tiger's career, and you know me, I'm a huge Tiger guy, he didn't face the depth of competition or the depth of talent that is currently playing today.
In their first 22 majors, the Golden Bear won 7, Tiger Woods won 8. Jack was 40 over par combined for those rounds. Tiger was 81 under, a difference of 121 strokes.
Yeah, it was a different game. I mean, you look at some of the scores that won U.S. Opens going back to the 70s, I mean, into the 80s, well over par was frequently a contending score. Golf changed. Technology changed. Expectations changed. I think there's also an entertainment element that changed. When you had the massacre at Winged Foot, when, someone won at, 8-9 over par, people didn't find that maybe as entertaining as watching Tiger Woods shoot 15 under par at Pebble Beach in the U.S. Open. So I think there's a give and take there. But a lot of it's just the evolution of golf. And I think my biggest thing when you look at the stimp meter chart that you tweeted out is just how some of these courses were built and designed with some of these monstrous slopes, and you can't even use some of those pin positions anymore.
It would be like, for those in Northwest Ohio listening, in our backyard, my old home course, Tameron. God, I love that place. There were some hills, and there were fun greens and dirty sand, but it was short, right? And you play it from the tips, it was like 5,500 yards maybe. That would be like going to play Tameron and then walking across the street and going to play Inverness.
Yeah,
it's worlds of difference. Like, there's no, like, you would throw out like a 75 at Tameron, shoot 175 at Inverness.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Golf has changed a lot. The distances are crazy that some of these courses are, and by proxy, a lot of these courses like Oak Hill have had to do large renovations and improvements just to stay relevant and stay in the mix for major championships.
Justin, what have you made about some of the recent news where the RNA, the Royal and Ancient, yes, and the PGA Tour trying to get a hold of the golf ball and changing things, and this this ball rollback, if you will, and trying to kind of slow down basically how far guys are hitting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit at the Masters. I think there's no reason to roll the ball back for the average player. I mean, Bellino, you're not good enough to hit the ball any shorter than you already are. Your issues has always been, accuracy, touch, execution.
Oh,
so for
should
the
be on my dating
guy,
profile.
The run-of-the-mill amateur player, there's no reason to roll the ball back. For the professionals, I think you could make the argument that they probably are overpowering too many golf courses. You never see players have to hit 4 irons or 3 irons or even 5 irons very often into a green as an approach shot. It's a driver and a wedge type sport. And I think the RNA and USGA wants to get some of that execution back into the game. But, I mean, as we talked about during the Masters, the Tour pros are already playing a slightly different golf ball. The Titleist Pro V1 that Justin Thomas is going to play today, and I've said this before, is not a ball that you can just go out and buy. And that's just a reality of the situation. It was kind of like when Tiger was playing Nike balls for a while. That was a custom ball just for him.
Man,
so we already have a little bit of that spread that already exists. But I think a rollback in the pro game probably has some merit.
Wow. Okay. All right. There we go. I you dabbled a little bit before, we revisit, and here you are, maybe with a pretty firm stance, kind of sounded like, maybe a little bit. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a firm stance, but, it's like that was probably rolling like 7.5 on the stimp meter. All right. So we have the PGA Championship this weekend through the 21st at Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester, New York. Well, the PGA Tour decided to kind of revamp their schedule a little bit, which was smart, right? They needed to get away, get some of these other events in earlier in the year and avoid some, TV conflicts that they were running into later in the schedule. So I totally understand that. So the PGA moves up. The problem is Rochester, New York right now is 31 degrees according to AccuWeather. 31 degrees. That's below freezing, before 8 o'clock in New York in the month of May. Is it the timing of the tournament? Is it the course location that they've chosen for this? Like, how do they kind of correct this? Because guys look absolutely miserable during the practice round. Nobody wants to play in that kind of weather. That's why they're called chilly opens.
Yeah, I mean, this event was awarded to Oak Hill when the PGA Championship was still being played in August. So I think you have to, put that out there for context. Oak Hill is an amazing championship golf course. It's top 25 in the United States in the latest Golf Digest rankings. All the pictures, the renovation they did with Andrew Green, who's also done work at Scioto and Inverness, is just tremendous. But with that said, it's tough. With the May date, you're really drawing a line across much of the Northeast and the Midwest, and you're going to make it really, really challenging for these courses to be a part of the PGA Championship moving forward. And I think that's really what's unfortunate, that courses like in Inverness, like in Oakland Hills, who's kind of entrenched with the USGA, you're not going to see some of these courses possibly again host major championships. Now, the weather this afternoon's going to be okay. The sunset doesn't, go down to about 8:30. They're going to get a lot of golf in. Tomorrow's weather's in the 70s, and Sunday looks good. Saturday's a little dicey. So I think at the end of the day, Anthony, the May date is what it is. I think they're going to be able to go to some courses. The PGA is building a facility in Frisco, Texas. That facility is going to get multiple PGA championships. And courses like Oak Hill, unfortunately, are just going to get fewer and fewer of those opportunities.
Yeah, I don't like that. I also don't like the weather for them right now. But with the change in the schedule, like I want, Inverness, I want Oakland Hills, I want them to be, in the running, in those conversations, to be talked about, and to have the opportunity. That's something that we talked about a lot in our conversations on the radio. All right, so then I got to get to my next question, man. With the PGA this weekend, we're playing par 70, 7,300 yards. Damn near 7,400, 7,394. So we'll call it 74. That's a really long ways away for a par 70 course here. Like that is so shocking to see something like that. The average golfer would look at that and probably puke. Like you don't have to worry about the pro. You're going to be hitting 3s and 4s and 5 irons. That much is for certain. These guys maybe not so much. Who's your favorite this weekend? Who do you like the most?
Yeah, the guys that I've kind of circled, funny enough, are guys that tend to play well a lot but tend not to win. And I think if you look at the history of the PGA, there's a lot of one-off winners. There's a lot of one-off major champions over the years, even going back like a Davis Love III or a Hal Sutton, or the last time the event was at Oak Hill where Jason Duffner won, and prior to that Sean McKeel. But the guys that I kind of like this week are the slowest of them all, Patrick Cantley. I also think Xander's trending and playing very well, and another guy that's playing well but doesn't win a ton of big events is Tony Finau. So none of those are really bold, long shot takes. They're all in that 18 to 24 to 1 type range. But I think those are players that are playing really well, and there's just a sense of maybe some of these guys are due. Xander's played well in a ton of major championships. This is going to be a hard golf course where a lot of people project a winning score of 5 to 9 under par. Maybe this lines up for him moving forward.
What about your boy? Huh? What about your boy? We got a little love for John Rahm here, huh? What do you say?
Listen, anytime right now there is a golf tournament anywhere on this planet and John Rahm is playing, you cannot discount John Rahm. You cannot discount Scottie Scheffler. I think I would be very, very surprised if come Saturday afternoon those guys are not in the mix. They're just so talented and playing at such a high level that, even when Rahm plays down in Mexico a few weeks ago and gets beat by Finau and finishes second, he's in the mix. Scheffler was in the mix last week at Byron Nelson on the back nine. These guys just always are right there when it counts. I just think from a prognostication standpoint and we just plugged DraftKings standpoint, I just can't get behind betting someone that's 6 or 7 to 1 in a major championship.
Hey, 4 tour wins this year, including the Masters tournament. Yes, a green jacket for John Rahm. I know that when that jacket went on, that you were elated, vindicated, the celebration, I'm sure, at your home. Do you have a Spanish flag in your home, yes or no?
I actually put a nice flagpole out adjacent to a tree, and every week Rahm plays, we fly the Spanish flag in his honor, and it was vindication.
Please tell me you're serious. Please tell me you're serious. Do I have to drive to your house and deliver you a Spanish flag?
If you deliver me the Spanish flag and the mount, I'll put it on an adjacent tree, just for you.
Done.
The neighbors will think what the hell's going on every time that thing goes up, though.
No, they'll know. They'll know. The Spanish Armada is here, and Rambo's Rowdies are ready to go to cheer on their boy. I love that Spanish flag coming to your house. So, hopefully, maybe your wife could make us some lemonade. We could sit around, talk about the short game. We'll hoist the Spanish flag, huh? I love this.
Play
this
the
is
anthem.
Great. Play the anthem, yes. March around and maybe like some sort of caddy bib. I like it. I think Rod is something. He is Justin Kruse. Find him on Twitter at Coilswell. I mean, maybe he's a Spaniard now. I don't really know. Justin is always my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time. On the fly this morning, too. I mean, just picked up the clubs, slammed the trunk, and got out there.
I knew you were in a vulnerable position after that draft lottery.
My God.
The Pistons are going to do it. But I'm sure that 5th pick is going to turn out to be a game-changing player. Your Pistons are going to be fine, Anthony.
Everybody keeps saying that. Everybody keeps telling me the house isn't going to burn down, which is, I mean, maybe it will end up being fine. Maybe everything will work out, and that Cam Whitmore kid will be the draft pick, and he'll come out and he'll shine. But
I think he's probably going to average 6 rebounds, 4 points next year.
Who?
Whoever the Pistons pick.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for that.
Invictus going to go 22-12.
Did you see what Br0's said? If he's not KD, LeBron, and Hakeem, then he's a failure or something. I'm like, dude, that's so stupid.
I liked your tweet this morning. One of the most absurd takes of all time.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Broussard. Like you got to be better than that. I know that everyone's in it for clicks and hot takes and everything else, but that's just ridiculous. Like that's such a lofty expectation for a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The hype machine is full speed ahead with no return.
No return. It's gone now. I mean, that hype machine is out there and it's rolling. So thanks again, man. And hey, you playing today? You gonna hit the stimp meter at all?
No play today. Hoping to play tomorrow. So we'll see if the weather holds tomorrow. We're in full golf mode, Bellino.
Excellent. I can't wait to get out there with you. I have to figure out how to keep my drive on the hole that we're playing. When I do that, things are looking good, but I'm having some trouble. I'm not even going to say hit the fairway. I just got to be able to find it, and it's got to be playable. That's all I'm asking, and be in the direction of the hole in the route we're supposed to be going.
It's important to play the hole you're on.
Touche, my friend. Hey, man, thanks again. I appreciate you.
Hey, have a great day, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You too. Enjoy the PGA Championship. And John Rahm, now I got to go buy a Spanish flag.